Hello everybody, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the third season of the Marble Invites, hosted by the Starlights of the Bourne Network's Marble Championship, and we start with an absolute classic Marble Invites event. It is balancing. Hello everybody, I am Spenny, and I am joined today by the excellent Ramen Powder.
It is so good to be back. Words cannot describe how excited I am to be here for the opening event of the third season of the Marble Invite. We've had 3 seasons, we've had 3 balancing openers, and for the first time we have demo teams here that are from the home competition, the Bourne Network's Marble Championship's very own Foresters, here to demonstrate this event here in the Bourne Network. You may know balancing has a bit of a twist. If you get in that bullseye towards the end at the finishing point, you can get an extra bonus. We'll see if any teams can get marbles into that. But with the demo run done, we are going to get started. For our first runners, the Starlights, the home team here. How can they do in their first Marble Invites outing here?
Ooh, bit of contact with the back marbles with the front one. That shoots them off to the far side. The rest of them fall off the near side, and only 2 of those marbles making it to the orange area. Let's see, 2 of those marbles falling off before the yellow. Is this maybe not the best start for the Starlights? Bit of nerves. 292, that beats the Foresters demo run by a single point. And we'll see if that comes back to bite them. And now we have the defending champions, the Abstract Aquatics, who took an amazing title in Season 2. And how are they going to get started? Oh my goodness.
Oh dear, the Abstract Aquatics, they have 2 silvers in Marble Machine Mania's balancing. But here, look completely out of their element. On the white zone, all of the marbles fell off, just splaying off to either side. Not even close to our home team, 207. The defending champions not looking too hot now. Blue Moons, we go back to the previous hosts competition. The Marble Sports Games representatives, and there's contact out of the game once again. Marbles go off to either side, but one of their marbles is gonna get to the finish line. Not going to be a bullseye, but still with that one finisher, you can say, that should put them in first place thus far. Went way further than all of the marbles in previous runs and all of the teammates they had in this run.
We do have our first finisher on only the 3rd run. It does go P1. But only 4 points ahead of the Starlights. The other 3 marbles did not do very well, but the finisher manages to clutch up a first overall at the moment. And now, for one of the most dominant teams in their home competition, Electric Energy, a debutant in the Marble Invites, but I don't think this is going to match the run we just saw from the Blue Moons.
No, it seemed fairly consistent. You had those 2 marbles that drifted off to the near side in the white zone. A couple of the marbles reaching the orange zone. It doesn't seem too bad. Definitely not the run of the Abstract Aquatics. But still, with no high-profile results here, it's only going to be good enough for 3rd place for the Plippies Marble Association team. And now the Green Dragons, dominant in Pesky's Marble Championship. We'll see what they can do here. A little contact out of the gate, but marbles get propelled forward. Not the worst run we've seen, marbles getting past the white zone. You really want to get past the white zone with as many of your marbles as possible here. The Green Dragons did manage to do that a little bit. Had one drifting off to the near side here. Couple off to the yellow zone, one off to the far side. Yet again though, no high profile results, which means that's only going to be good enough to slot them in P3, right ahead of the Electric Energy.
And now, for our Quadrilla Marble League representatives here, the Golden Cheeses. Looking very yellow in the starting gate. Can they get their namesake, or should I say, namesake works, but it doesn't look like it. They're not going to get any finishers. Golden Cheeses, they're not going to get gold here, but how consistent did that run look? 3 of those marbles going off to the far side, 1 to the near. Ooh, actually, now that I look at it a bit closer, a lot of those marbles falling off very early, but they did have a high-profile score with that 100. P5 out of 6. It's going to be second to last for the Golden Cheeses, as we've gone to a similarly yellow team, but with a bit of blue. They don't look exactly like their Algadoo counterpart, but the John Jolts are here. And maybe not the greatest run, but it was consistent.
Yes, indeed, the Viridian League representatives, first time in Marble Invite for this team and this competition, had a couple of marbles reach the orange zone, one actually to the green. That's a really good result for that one marble. 101 for their highest score. That's good enough for second place for the John Jolts. Great for their first outing. Now, another new competitions team, the Laser Eyes from the 3D Chaos League. We'll see what they can do here. And off they go, consistent out of the gate, not much contact, that's a good sign, but they drift off to the far side, 3 of them, and the near side marble also couldn't get that far, so while it was a great start for the Laser Eyes, they started to peel away a little bit. Even if you can get a nice, clean entry out of the gate, you really need to keep your balance. That is the name of the game here. Laser Eyes, not the best, but it is consistent.
And wow, look at that, the consistency shows. All 4 marbles made it past the white. And that consistency is going to get them a pretty decent result. It's actually going to put them 4th out of our first 8 runs. The Blue Moons, the John Jolts, and our hosts, the Starlights. That first run is going to keep them in P3 at the moment. As now we come to the Grayscales, one of the most dominant teams in their home competition. And that was pretty much a bit of follow the leader off the top side there. I'm not entirely sure what the marbles behind were doing. But look at this. The rest of them just followed the captain right off the board. But if anything, you can say that was at least definitely consistent for the team.
Yes, indeed. They have multiple goals in balancing style events and Tour de Endurance still, though. After a great launch out of the gate, all completely petered off to the same part of the course on the far side. And now in the next run, the Whitecaps, another team dominant in JBL Cup here. Ooh, it is consistent once again, but so many teams are having marbles that drop off in very similar parts of the beam, near that yellow zone and the orange zone. And for the worst marble, it's at the end of the white zone. You can see the first marble dropping off at the end of the white zone on the near side. So it's going to be very mired in the mid-pack here. You really want a high-profile result to distinguish yourselves from other teams in this event. And yeah, 5 almost dead center for the Whitecaps as we move on to the Poseidons now. Marble Clash competition, another new team from that competition here in Marble Invites, and a bit of contact. They all spread out a little bit as they come out of it. And once again, the marbles fall very close to the middle part of the beam here. So we'll see how it is for the Poseidons.
Definitely among the more consistent runs that we have seen. Yep, every marble making it past the white. So this should be probably upper mid-pack from what we have seen. And it's going to go P1! It did not look like a P1 run at all. They didn't even have a finisher like the Blue Moons, but it was enough. The consistency for the Poseidons, they're going to take it. And now we have another Algadoo representative, the Pastry Party from the Biscuit Brawl.
The Pastry Party, the only team in the field that has never done balancing. Really interesting to see how they take to it. Seems to be decent, although not very consistent. Unlike the Poseidons, what we just saw, 2 marbles going well off on the white zone on the far side. That's going to hurt them for sure. With a 98 and a 70, it's still only good enough for 9th out of 12 just far. That inexperience perhaps showing for the Pastry Party. And now, onto another Algadoo representative, Scorpuriers from the Valvic Marble League, champions back in Season 3 in that competition, and all of them drift off to the near side here. They had a couple marbles make the orange zone, I believe. So again, consistency is favoring them. But with everyone going off to the far side, they seem to have a bit of a sway towards the far side, towards the near side from the get-go. So that was not going to put them in a good position from the start of it. But we'll see how this works out in the result. It's 7th out of 13, very mired in the mid-pack. Everyone is in that high 200 zone. And we'll see if these final runs can do something better than that. Now, the King Crabs in the 14th run.
King Crabs had one of the most dominant first halves of Quack's competition that they are a part of, but this is not quite going to match that. I believe they had one of the best first halves in their home season ever, and then followed by one of the worst second halves, but the first half was so good they managed to hold it. Oh, hang on a minute. This is looking really good. In fact, it's a whole 50 points, just about, ahead of the Poseidons. That's going to take P1. As we head into now the Pixies, an entire team based off of an individual marble from Colescore's competition. Oh dear. And that is not going to be quite the run that we just saw from the King Crabs.
There was some really jarring contact coming out of the gate here. You can see marbles going in all different directions, straight away on the white zone. Did not do good, still perhaps adapting to that team dynamic for the Pixies from the Cold Score Marble Championship, and that is second to last, 14th out of 15 thus far. The King Crabs look unstoppable here, but if anyone's going to stop them, it's our defending balancing winners and 4th place last season, Time Watchers from Joker's Marble League, and off they go here. Looked very consistent out of the gate. Everyone's to the orange zone.
Oh my goodness!
Marbles to the green zone. Did the Time Watchers just win a second straight Marble Invites balancing?
What an amazing run. I think there's no question about it. The Time Watchers, I think they've gone back-to-back in balancing for Marble Invites. The question is, what is the score? 407 for the Time Watchers. In dominating balancing, just like they did in Marble Invites Season 2. Didn't get a finisher, but look at the score across those 4 marbles. Their worst score was better than some of these teams' best. A 407 will take the gold for the Time Watchers. The King Crabs will settle for the silver, and the Poseidons. We have 2 debuts in Marble Invites on the podium in the first event. Congratulations to our podium finishers.
Time Watchers, a chip on their shoulder for sure after coming so close to the championship in Marble Invites in Season 2, and they're going to start on top in Season 3, 25 points to them. King Crabs and the Poseidons 20 and 15 down to our defending champions, the Abstract Aquatics, in dead last, but there's still 11 events for them to make a comeback as we go on to the next event, the Sprint.